She will feature in the show alongside Clive Francis as Frank Doel. Adapted from Helene's best-selling book, 84 Charing Cross Road is a tender and heartwarming tale of transatlantic friendship. The bittersweet comedy is based on the extraordinary true story of the remarkable relationship that developed over 20 years between a vivacious New York writer and a London bookseller. Through their exchange of humorous and often intimate correspondence, a snapshot of Britain from the post-war 1940s to the swinging 60s is revealed, alongside a touching human story that still deeply resonates today. Stefanie Powers plays Helene. A star of stage and screen with a career spanning more than 50 years, Stefanie is best known for her iconic role opposite Robert Wagner in Heart to Heart, which ran over 5 series and 8 TV movies between 1979 and 1996. Her extensive film and TV credits include McClintock, The Magnificent Seven, Ride Again, The Rockford Files, The Bionic Woman, The $6 Million Man and The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. Clive Francis's recent theatre credits include An Inspector Calls, West End, Les Blancs, National Theatre, and Enron. On screen he has appeared in The Queen, Mr. Turner and most recently as Lord Salisbury in the award-winning Netflix series, The Crown. 84 Charing Cross Road premiered at the Salisbury Playhouse in 1981 before transferring to the West End and Broadway. It was adapted into a film in 1987, starring Anthony Hopkins, Judi Dench and Anne Bancroft as Helene, who won the BAFTA Award for Best Actress. Stefanie says, "I'm in the enviable position of being able to accept work I would enjoy doing, and I'm very grateful for that, especially a lovely part like Helene. She was an extremely complicated woman with escape mechanisms for protection that helped her to survive. She enjoyed a renaissance after featuring in the 2011's edition of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. She took to the show with aplomb. I thought of it as a survival show, and that's something I know how to do, because I live in Africa, Kenya, for part of the year. I've slept under the stars many times and I know how long you have to boil water. No one knows the cards we are going to be dealt in life. All we can do is play the best hand we get, and look for the positive parts." Stefanie was born in Los Angeles and was dancing on Broadway by the time she was 15. She was signed up to Hollywood's star system, where young hopefuls were put through a program of acting and voice training. "I have, for as long as I can remember, had an insatiable curiosity of absolutely everything. Growing up I was in awe of the wider world, never putting myself as the center of the universe. Everything seemed more interesting than I was, so after a long time following my curiosities I have had what I consider to have been and still is a very interesting life, much of it lived at a time when the world was a great deal more innocent than now. As a child, dancing was my principal interest along with archaeology and veterinary medicine. Dancing won out, which led to acting, or perhaps the sort of dancing I was doing was also acting of a kind, so it seemed a natural transition." Her role in The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. helped to make her a star. "I did not realize it at the time, but The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. was the first ever hour-length weekly series starring a woman. I guess I was some sort of pioneer. We made 29-hour-long episodes of the series, working long and exhausting hours, but when it was cancelled, along with The Man from U.N.C.L.E., I did not work for NBC for years. So much for being a pioneer." Heart to Heart was another role that helped to connect her with fans around the world. In 1980's TV series with Robert Wagner playing the millionaire Jonathan Hart and Powers his journalist wife, she solved crimes with the help of their dog Freeway. filming H2H was a demanding schedule, since we were in virtually every scene and 14-hour days were common. Our lunch hours were filled with story conferences, costume fittings and PR. We made 23 shows a year for 5 years. No matter how difficult a day was, the great thing was that I could just look over and see Robert Wagner, my friend, my colleague and my greatest support. We had 2 freeways, both had been rescued from the dog pound on death row. Stefanie loved playing on H2H and frequently had a dose of the giggles. Yes, one episode of H2H with Florence Henderson as our guest star. Toward the end of a long day, we 3 became so silly that at a certain point in the dialogue of the scene we were shooting, a word would make us collapse in uncontrollable giggles. It became so bad that as it was the last scene of the day, they shut down and sent us home. The next morning, we had regained our composure and shot the scene. 84 Charing Cross Road features at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre from Tuesday to June 2nd.